I literally wrote down at the end of the year, I want to sign a big major contract this year. Woo! And I did. It shows you how being obedient to God, even if it doesn't look right in the moment, He will honor your obedience. Being obedient is never easy. Me walking away from my previous podcast was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. Not even the podcast. Walking away from men that didn't treat me right. My phone is so dry. When I say my phone is dry, baby, Sahara, I'm like, Jesus, where is my Boaz? Oh, Lord. Let's try this again.
Do you want to pray?
I do. Thank you so much. Dear God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for every single person in this room. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the contract that was signed. Thank you for every single person that believes in Let's Try This Again. Thank you for Caleb. Thank you for Caitlin. Thank you for Brittany. Thank you for Jazz. Thank you for everybody behind the camera that is making this business possible and flourish, God. I keep saying I see a vision like a rocket in 2025. I thank you that I am taking off like a rocket. And just like rockets do, I'm dropping the baggage. I'm dropping the dead weight as I move forward into your purpose for my life. I thank you for Let's Try This Again. I thank you for making me a visionary. And I thank you for the guests that are coming today. Like whatever we say on this mic, help somebody, be a testament to our faith and their faith, and let them be able to feel stronger, motivated, inspired to try again, God. I thank you for my life. I thank you for all the gifts in this room that are making this platform possible. In Jesus' name we ask and thank you. Amen. Oh my gosh. It is Pi Day. It's a new month. It's February. I'm hungry. Y'all gonna hear about that in a minute. And I am at Dear Media Studios, you guys. This is my first time potting at Dear Media. I am so excited. Y'all see the little logo? Stop playing. Yeah, Dear Media, XLTTA. We're going to talk about that. But this episode is literally about setting goals, being inspired, setting goals for even when you don't feel inspired, when you don't feel excited, when it feels difficult, when it feels not tangible. There have been 3 goals that I have made leading into 2025, and they're already happening. It's only February, and they're literally happening right before my eyes. And I'm going to talk about that. But first of all, hey, y'all. Hey to the newcomers. If this is your first time listening to Let's Try This Again, thank you for being here. I am your host, b.simone. Thank you for giving this podcast a chance. I hope you enjoy it. Go back and listen to the other episodes and just catch up if you're a late bloomer. If you're an OG, what's up, OG? Yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for rocking with me. We are about to be a year in. In April, it will be a year, and I'm freaking mind blown. I cannot believe I've been a solo podcaster for a year. Woo! It's been a journey, but yeah. This episode is all about goals, setting goals, achieving those goals, and I'm going to tell you guys the 3, well, not the 3 goals, but 3 goals that were on my list of goals that have already been manifesting in the beginning of this year. You guys, we're going to start off with Dear Media and how being in this seat right here, right now is totally full circle. Oh, actually, you know what? Rewind. Act like I didn't say that. We're actually going to start off with this morning. This morning was chaotic, and if you see my wig sliding back, don't say nothing about it. Keep scrolling and keep going and focus on what I'm saying out of my mouth, not what's going on my head. Okay? This morning was absolutely nuts. I flew in from Atlanta to shoot at the Dear Media Studios, which I said we'll get to that. And last night I landed. I went to Whole Foods and got some food. I'm staying with my friend Connor, so I don't have to be eating out and spending all this money. And last night, the Uber said 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, so I'll add like maybe 15, 20 minutes to that, add traffic in the morning. Baby, I woke up at like 6:30. I was like, I got like 2 hours to get ready. I'm going to leave at 8, and then I'll get there by 9. Babe, I clicked that Uber. It said an hour and a half. It said 90 minutes. I said, I will put my wig on in the Uber. I did my makeup in that Uber. And the Uber was a $200 ride because I got a black truck hoping that there would be space and hoping that they would be a little more lenient with the rules, you know, like a little more luxury so I can do what I need to do. I asked him, I was like, can I sit in the front to do my makeup? He said no. I said yes. He said no, and I was nodding my head, yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, sir. I have no other option. So he let me sit in the front. I did my makeup, and we made it to Dear Media. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, that leads me into my first goal of 2025. I literally wrote down at the end of the year, I want to sign a big major contract this year. Woo! And I did. Dear Media was one of my first major contracts of 2025. And it's so crazy, y'all, because this is totally full circle. Because when I walked away from my previous podcast, we actually had an opportunity to sign with them. And I walked away 7 days before we were supposed to lock it in. It was a major deal, 6 figures, a lot of figures. I don't know. It was a lot of figures. And I walked away from it. And it shows you how following your intuition, following your gut, being obedient to God, even if it doesn't look right in the moment, if you have to walk away from something that looks great, but God is telling you to go the opposite way, He will honor your obedience. I am sitting in an answered prayer. I am literally sitting in obedience. I am not going to cry because I did my makeup so good today. I'm not going to do it. But if y'all see a tear fall, ignore the mascara. I'm sitting in an answered prayer, and I'm sitting in being obedient and doing what God called me to do, even though in the moment it was scary. In the moment it didn't look right. In the moment, I know my decision to walk away from my previous podcast affected everybody. It didn't just affect me. It affected Dear Media. They were ready to sign. It affected my agency. They were like, what's going on? It affected all the people that were working behind the scenes to build that platform. And me making that decision was one of the best decisions of my life. And here I am, full circle, sitting in Dear Media Studios as a podcaster, and the ink is, what's the saying? The ink is dry? Yes. Thanks, Jazz. She's like, yes, the ink is dry. We signed a couple weeks ago, and I'm just so excited to be a part of a company that believes in my vision, that is women empowerment, that gives me other opportunities that I might not have had just with my platform and my network. So yeah, we're here. And that was one of my first goals for 2025, to sign a major deal. And I did it. You guys, I'm telling y'all, like, being obedient and staying on the path will lead you to God opening so many doors, and everything will come back full circle. And for me, being obedient is doing it scared, because your flesh might want something so bad, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, whether it's that $1 million deal on the table. But you know, your spirit and your soul and everything in you is telling you to go the other way. A lot of times it's easier to lean into your flesh and just submit to what you know isn't right for you, but it feels comfortable. It's not as scary as saying no. It's not as scary as walking away. You feel like that's the only opportunity you will ever get at love, at somebody loving you, at that contract, at that job, at that opportunity. But following your spirit and your soul and doing it scared anyway. Being obedient is never easy. It's never easy. Like, me walking away from my previous podcast was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. Not even the podcast. Walking away from men that didn't treat me right. My phone is so dry. When I say my phone is dry, baby, Sahara. Ain't that the desert? Yeah, camels. That should be my emoji. When I call your phone, make my emoji a camel. Cause ain't nobody on my phone. Do you hear me? Not a man. I ain't gay, but not a woman. Oh, Lord. I'm like, Jesus, where is my Boaz? Ain't that the man in the Bible that was strong and sexy? Or Solomon, he had long hair and he was fine. Oh, Lord, being obedient. I'm sure I could be laying up with a guy right now. I could be kicking it with my ex. I could be just to feel a void of loneliness or not be alone or being laying next to somebody and trying to feel love or romance or all the things that we want in romantic relationships, but being obedient to knowing the long term. That's not good for me. That's not what I want. There's no man in my life or in my past right now that I could look at and be like, you're a husband to me. And being obedient is going to cause people not to understand you, not to see your vision. They're going to try to distort God's voice and be like, I didn't tell you that. Okay, you don't have to believe that. I know my relationship with Christ and I know exactly what he told me to do. And the fruits of that are happening right now in this moment. Do not let people try to change your decision when you're trying to be obedient and distort God's voice and distort what you know your spirit and your soul is telling you. You know if you shouldn't be with somebody. You're going to ignore the red flags. You're going to ignore all the things, but you know when it's time to resign from that job. You know when it's time to walk away. You know, there was a video on social media recently, and there was a girl, she was crying. Y'all gotta not quote me on this because I don't know the Instagram or the handle, but she was crying because she felt like God had told her to give up her car. I don't know why. I didn't go that deep into the story, but she was bawling, crying, and she knew it was time for her to sell her car and move on. You know, when you have those feelings. So I just want to encourage you in this season, there will be a full circle moment. When you walk away from that relationship, God will give you something better. If you walk away from that job, God will give you something better. If you leave that toxicity, God will give you something better. If you let go of friends that no longer serve you, that don't align with who you are in this season, maybe they aligned before, maybe they aligned 10 years ago. But if you're growing and you're seeing and you're discerning and your faith is heightened, maybe they don't align now. You can walk away from that friend group instead of being comfortable. Be obedient. I want to encourage you guys, every single person that is listening to this, tell me about a moment when you walked away from something that felt like a major loss. Maybe it devastated you, maybe it crushed you, but God showed up in later, whether it was a month, whether it was a year, whether it was a decade. We got to be on God's time, not our own time. He showed up and it was a setup for something even greater. Put that in the comments, meditate on that, think about that, and write it down. Because when you see what God has brought you out of, when you actually write it down and visually see it and meditate on that and have gratitude about that, you don't worry about the decisions you have to make moving forward. You just make those decisions because you know God is going to show up because history repeats itself. He did it before, he will do it again. So meditate on that, write it in the comments and write it down, you guys. So if there is a major decision you have to make in this season, you can remember when I did this last time, or when I did this a year ago, when I did this 10 years ago, God showed up and it was a setup for something greater. So don't doubt the season you're in now because I promise you he will show up. So you guys, we are going to transition into one of my second goals for 2025. Oh my goodness. I tried to do this a couple years ago and I wasn't really successful at it. So yeah, you guys, revisit some goals that you have tried to attack and maybe wasn't successful at, revisit those this year because that's what I'm doing. One of my goals was to travel the world. I travel a lot, but this is a little more specific. I wanted to travel to a different country every single month. I tried to do it with my travel buddy, Connor, a couple years ago. I think we made it to like 6 countries. And it was like, by the end of the year, we were like, let's just go to Aspen. We just flew to Colorado and we didn't leave the country. But this year, it has already been manifesting. One of my goals is to go to a different country every month. And this year, January, I went to London and Paris. Already 2 on the bucket list, okay? And in February, in a couple weeks, I'm heading to Brazil. And you guys will see all of these vlogs and all of these moments. Of course, daily vlogs on my Snapchat, the b.simone. But the YouTube, you guys, I'm vlogging these moments so you guys could travel with me and see these places and really experience the world. I think it's so important to travel, not just to experience the world, not just for relaxation, but to get a different perspective on life, and it helps you stay grounded in gratitude. You guys, when you go to these countries, people live so different. It's such a different cultural experience, and it's allowed me to really have more gratitude, especially the countries that are not as financially free or a little more poor than how we live in the United States. It's like, wow, these people really be on the islands with nothing, in Africa with nothing, like dancing and singing and full of joy and happiness and excitement. And we over here worried about a wig? Yeah, I'm over here worried about my concealer. And they are over there dancing in dirt, just praising God and having a good time with a little mango on the side of the street, smiling. So when you see that, it allows you to get more grounded, be more humble, and be immersed in gratitude. But just the world is such a big place. I encourage you guys. And I think a lot of people think traveling is expensive, which it is. Like there's certain moments that are expensive. Like I can spend a lot of money on a trip, but if you plan ahead, I'm telling you guys, plan ahead, find a spot. Sometimes going to the Bahamas and Jamaica is a cheaper flight than me flying to LA. Get your passport. I don't have a passport. It's okay. You guys sign up to get your passport. It doesn't cost that much. Try to travel out of your comfort zone this year. And some people have never even been out of their state. Maybe you don't have to go out of the country. Maybe you want to go to Miami, or maybe you're a small town girl and you want to go to New York, or you want to go to LA, or you want to go to Chicago. It doesn't have to be overseas. You can start small, but I encourage everybody to travel and experience the world, experience different people, different people's upbringing, different culture, even I'm trying to think before I speak. Is it agriculture or architecture? Which word? Architecture. Thank you, Jazz. The architecture in the world. Oh my gosh, trying to advise y'all, I don't even know the word. The buildings, okay? The buildings. They're beautiful. We went to London and Paris, and I was like, wow, this is just beautiful. It's not what you see every day in Atlanta. It's not what you see every day in my hometown, Dallas, Texas. So experience the world, talk to people. We got on a train from London to Paris. Oh my God, that was a crazy experience because my videographer got stuck in Paris. They would not let him back into London. And I was like, you're just going to have to fly home from Paris. That's a whole nother story. I talked about it in the vlog. You can go see that on my YouTube. If you're watching this, you're already on my YouTube, but go to the vlog playlist. So yeah, I encourage everybody to travel and see the world. And that was one of my goals in 2025. And I'm accomplishing it. We are only 2 months in. I've already been to 2 countries, but still, I'm not going to count that as 2. January is 1 month. Every month, I want to go to a different country. February is Brazil. I'm going with my homegirl, Monica. I'm so excited about Brazil. And then in March, I'm thinking about New Zealand because Drake got a concert over there and my homeboy is the host of his tour. So I'm like, I might just fly into New Zealand, go to the Drake tour, see one of my favorite artists, then support my homeboy who is hosting the tour, and just stay in New Zealand for 4 days, 5 days, and see New Zealand. I don't even know what they got in New Zealand. I'm gonna have to TikTok something, but I know Drake gonna be there. So I'm like, just pull up on Drake. Champagne Poppy, what's up? You follow me on Instagram. You don't ever like my post. Am I muted? Okay, so another one, this will be the last goal that I'm sharing with you guys. A lot of other goals had manifested, but these were the 3 main goals that have popped up so quickly at the beginning of this year. Living a fasted lifestyle. Oh my gosh. When I say I had been studying fasting so much, you guys know I battle with PCOS, and we will actually talk about that next week with Candace. Oh my gosh, you guys, please turn on your notifications. If any women out there are struggling with PCOS and the effects of that, this episode is going to be so good for you, so don't miss next week's episode. I struggle with PCOS, which is you hold on to weight. You're insulin resistant. You can't lose weight. Even if you're eating healthy, you have to have a specific detailed diet. And then I had fasting on my vision board for spiritual reasons. You know, when you kill your flesh and you go into giving up food. When I say I am a foodie, y'all, I'm so hungry. I've been drinking water for 3 days. Today's the 3rd day, and I can tell y'all this because by the time you see this, my fast will be over. When you fast, don't tell nobody. is between you and God and your body. Don't tell nobody. I don't be telling people when I fast. I do be fasting. You want a bite? No, I'll drink this water. You sure? Yes. Why? I'm detoxing. You just gotta lie. Don't say you're fasting. Fasting is between you and God when you do a spiritual fast. But the benefits of fasting is not only spiritual to get you closer to God and hear God's voice. And when you think about food, you pray. When I'm thinking about food or I get hungry or my stomach is growling, I go into prayer. So it's prayer all day, every day. Because obviously I'm hungry and thinking about food a lot. Um, Giving up food is so hard. Like I said, especially when you're a foodie, but the benefits are not just spiritual, they're physical. I've been looking up so much about fasting. I'm going to read a little bit of this to you guys, like how fasting works. It triggers different biological processes at various stages, each with its own benefits. And there's a breakdown that I got. I was looking this up that I got of what happens with your body because I was only gonna fast for one day, and then it was telling me the breakdowns of. I was like, I have to do 3 days. So one of my goals before I read this, one of my goals is to fast for 3 days out of every single month, no food. Intermediate fasting every day, so I would only eat from 12 to 8, and then one day out of the week, no food from dinner to dinner. So every Monday, I guess it'll be, I might want to say the day because I don't want y'all to know what day I be fasting. Don't be clocking me. Yeah, y'all people out there, she fasting on one day. No, I'm not. I ain't even gonna tell y'all today. But one day out of the week, I fast from dinner to dinner. 3 days out of the month, I fast for 72 hours. And every single day, I only eat from 12 to 8. So, like I said, not only spiritual benefits, but health benefits. 0 to 12 hours, your blood sugar and insulin drop. Your body burns glucose, which is sugar, from your last meal. Insulin levels drop, which helps reduce inflammation and improve metabolic health. That's only the first 12 hours, you guys. 12 to 24 hours, ketosis begins. This is important. This is good. Your body starts using fat for energy instead of glucose, which is sugar. Ketones, byproducts of fat metabolism, are produced, fueling your body and brain, reducing inflammation. So that's just the first day, 12 to 24 hours. But if you want to get more, you got to starve for another day. Don't eat that cake. Don't eat that burger, and don't eat them fries. You can't even have a peppermint. Do you hear me? Ugh, I ain't even chewed no gum. My mouth is dry. Okay, 24 to 48 hours. Autophagy. Do you know how to pronounce it?
Autophagy.
Caleb's so smart. He's like, autophagy. Autophagy and cellular repair start. So this is the first day to 48 hours. Autophagy, which is a self-cleansing process, increases removing damaged cells and proteins, including pre-cancerous cells, you guys. So during that 24 and 48 hour time period, your body is literally grabbing disease and junk and stuff out of your cells in your body and like killing it, basically. It's cleansing your body of things that don't need to be in your body. Growth hormone surges up to 5 times normal levels, supporting muscle preservation and anti-aging effects. It's how people be looking young. I'm telling you guys, fasting, look it up, Google it. It's so good for you and your body. And of course, everybody is different. I'm not telling y'all to starve yourself. You have to do it in the correct way, getting your nutrients, getting your your vitamins and all your minerals. 24 to 48 hours, also stem cell activity begins, though it's not fully activated until a longer fast. And this is why I went from a day fast to a 2-day fast to a 72-hour fast. 48 hours to 72 hours, deep cellular regeneration starts. So autophagy reaches peak levels, furthering clearing out damaged and potentially harmful cells. That is so cool to me. Like, that is just fire to me. Like, this is my 72nd hour day. This is my 3rd day. So literally my body is clearing out damaged cells that are harmful to my body. Inflammation continues to decrease, lowering the risk of chronic disease, including cancer. The immune system starts to reset with old immune cells being cleared out and new ones are beginning to be produced. So that's just a little breakdown of the 3 days of fasting, of course, you guys, consult a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a professional. But I fasted a few times last year. I'm starting to live a fasted lifestyle this year. So that is my goal. And I've been super accomplished with it. Like, I'm so excited about my fast. Look, let me show y'all my dinner. This is my breakfast. This is my lunch. This is my snack. I'd rather have an almond, but I have a gallon of water. There is pink Himalayan sea salt in here for your minerals, lemon and lime that alkalines your body, and you want to make sure you're drinking spring water. There's so many rules and regulations. Everybody's body's different, so please make sure you consult your doctor. Don't pass out on the street and say b.Simone said. Don't be walking through your job with your gallon of water and you pass out and wake up and say, well, I was listening to Let's Try This Again and she advised me to not eat for a week. Don't do that. Don't blame me, okay? But I am super, super, super excited about this fasting lifestyle. So those are my goals for 2025. I'm not even going to say I hope I can keep them up because I know I can keep them up. And I encourage you guys to set goals. And they don't have to be so vast and big. Like, fasting isn't only for spiritual reasons for me, health reasons, cleaning out disease, cancer, taking all the junk out of my body, anti-aging for physical appearance, all the things. Spiritual, physical, but discipline. Discipline has been one of the hardest things in my life that I've had to tackle on a constant basis. And I'm sick of starting over. Because when you start over, you're not starting over where you left off. You're starting over at the beginning. If you go to the gym consistently for a year and you're in there and you're doing good, and then you stop for 6 months, you're not starting where you left off. The muscle's gone. The muscle mass is gone. You probably gained weight. Your body is totally different. You're starting over from the beginning. I'm sick of starting over from the beginning. So fasting has allowed me to not only, like I said, the spiritual and physical benefits, but the mental benefits of me having self-discipline and killing what I want in the moment for a long-term effect. What can you do for self-discipline this year? Make that one of your goals. Killing what you want in the moment for longevity. I want food in the moment, but long term, I want to be 80, fine, and on a yacht with my husband at 80. Yes, I want to be healthy. I want food in the moment, but long term, I want a deeper relationship with my creator, which fasting helps you spiritually. I want food in the moment, but long term, I want discipline and I want consistency. So fasting is helping me tackle all of those things too. What is something you guys can do this year that it doesn't have to be so drastic? It could be waking up at a certain time. It could be changing your diet. It could be something small. Start off small. It could be just taking soda out of your diet. Maybe you're a soda drinker. It could be cutting out carbs. You don't have to go extreme as like, I'm going to fast for a week. But something that will help you mentally with self-control and discipline. Aren't you sick of starting over? Aren't you sick of picking up the gym every 6 weeks? Aren't you sick of, I'm going to do it right this time? Aren't you sick of, I'm sick of starting over. I don't want to start over. I want to be consistent and have self-discipline for every category in my life and stay there. I don't want to take any steps back. So fasting has helped me do that. And those are the 3 goals that I'm going to share with you guys. Signing a major contract, traveling the world, and living a fasted lifestyle. Share your goals with me below. And let's talk about the goals y'all have for 2025. All right, you guys. So before I wrap up this episode, I just thank you for listening. I want to encourage every single listener, from my mouth to your ears to your heart. I hope you're motivated every week. I hope you're inspired every week. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. And I am about to pray looking at this Dear Media sign behind this camera. This is just crazy, you guys. I know your life might be hard right now. I know you might be in a dark place right now. I know you might be depressed right now, anxiety, all the things. And you might not be. You might be in a good environment. You might be happy. You might be joyful. You might be in a good season, and glory be to God that you are. But the people that are in a dark space, I promise you, if you find gratitude, you can find that you're living in an answered prayer. God answered something. whether it was putting food on the table, whether it was covering your children, whether it was letting you make it through another day, whatever it is, look around for the answered prayer you're living in, because I promise you, if you look for it, you will find it. You're living in an answered prayer. And I'm living in an answered prayer. I'm living in obedience. I'm living in God keeping his promises to me. God honors obedience. I know it's hard. Y'all, this is 2 years later. I'm talking 2 years later from walking away from Dear Media. 2 years later, I am sitting in the studio. And it's just a blessing. I'm grateful. I'm excited for what we're going to do this year. And I encourage you guys to write. To write. And I talked about that in a previous episode, the power of journaling. If you have not seen that episode, go watch it. It's so powerful, and it shows the power of writing, journaling, manifesting, and writing your prayers and your desires and your goals out. So thank you guys for listening to this. I'm accomplishing goals this year. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. You should be accomplishing goals this year. And I encourage you to, set some goals. If you haven't set them, start over. Start over. But make this the last time. Let's try this again. But make it the last time you start over. Stay disciplined. Stay on the course. You guys, another announcement. Finally, the LTTA app is in the works. It is coming sooner than later. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to give y'all a date, of course, because last time I gave y'all a date, we had to push it back, but it is on the way. Please go follow the Instagram at LTTA app. And you guys, if you need community, the community already exists. Yes, the LTTA app is going to elevate that and give us more of our own little location so we can have all of our community and our network and all the people there. But the community already exists. Go to Let's Try This Again Instagram and join the broadcast channel. You guys, we have conversations in there every single day, motivation in there every single day. If you need more than just a podcast once a week, go join the community in the broadcast channel on at Let's Try This Again Instagram. It's right in the bio. And of course, LTTA app Instagram. You guys, we make posts on there almost every single day, and people are commenting in the comments. We repost your comments. We talk back to you in the comments. So like I said, the community already exists. If you're looking for your community, you can find it right here at Let's Try This Again.